Mr. President. I would like to remind the Commission about the ACTA agreement that this Parliament rejected less than 1 year ago. Now, there were a number of reasons why the Parliament said no to the ACTA agreement that the Commission had negotiated, but at the very heart of them was a lack of transparency. This makes me very, very disappointed that the Commission is setting itself up for exactly the same kind of failure once again. The positive thing about the whole ACTA affair was that there are now hundreds of thousands of European citizens who have at least once been demonstrating on the streets of various European cities against the trade agreement. There are lots of citizens now that take an interest in these agreements, and this is a very positive thing. But by insisting on the same kind of secrecy, only handing out secret documents to the members of the INTA committee, the Commission is setting itself up for the same kind of failure. I would urge you to rethink this and become transparent. Thank you.
Secondly, continuing on openness, I have no problem saying what we are doing and what we want to achieve, and when it's not in the open public also how I want to achieve this, but you're all politicians. No? And so you should know, and you know, I think, that you cannot do a negotiation in the open. That's not, you are not doing that in your parties either. You know? You're not doing that in your constituencies. You need to focus, and we of course have to report what we have been doing, explaining why we are doing things, why we make some concessions. We will have to make concessions in the course of this negotiation. But you need a certain degree of confidentiality in negotiations, also because your counterpart is asking for that. If not, you cannot negotiate. And it's interesting that it seems to be that now there is a copy of one of the drafts of the negotiating mandate. So what? I mean, it's a draft. Of course, also the Presidency has to make sure that they come to an agreement within the Council, so they put forward possibilities to get out of difficulties that we have to manage. And immediately you have very vocal members of this Parliament saying, this is a scandal, you know. You are traitors. We cannot trust you. Of course you can trust me, because in the end you can say no. And you have already been doing that in the past, by the way. You have been saying no to ACTA. I'm still not convinced that it was the right choice, but you decided to do so, and it was like that. You have the final word. But the Parliament is not made to negotiate, you know. That's not made for that. I have been in a Parliament, I think, for a longer time than most of you. About 25 years. Maybe there are. Mr. Brok left, so he certainly has more than 25 years. But there are not that many. But I have never had the ambition to negotiate out of a Parliament an agreement, because that simply doesn't work. What you have to do, and you do that in an eloquent way, is to say, look, those are the important points that we want to mention, and you have to take care of that, and we are going to question you about that, and we are going to scrutinise you on that, and in the end we are even going to vote against you if you don't do that. But a Parliament cannot negotiate, because a Parliament only exists when it votes. As a Parliament, as a body, it only exists when it votes. And outside the votes you have individual positions that are taken. Now, you cannot negotiate with 20, 30, 50 different positions. That's not possible. You need to negotiate on the basis of a mandate, and then of course you have to demonstrate that you have been following your mandate.